It gaff till a gaff. It gaff till a gaff. I'm illy with the till a gaff. Illy with the till a gaff. Nit gaff, nit gaff.
Alright then. So welcome to another edition of the Drink Champs version of the Freethinking, the Grand Gordo Papa LS podcast. So I'm calling it the Drink Champs because I'm a big fan of Nori. He used to be Noriega from Capone Noriega. And he's got this YouTube thing about doing drink champs with, famous rappers and, basically just gets them butt fuck drunk and then gets them to tell stories. It's awesome. I don't really watch all of it because unfortunately it's just a lot of people laughing, and a lot of in-jokes and sometimes the mics ain't really clear. But I just love the idea. So I'm up in here. I'm again inebriated again. Only slightly, but it's that situation where, like I said, we're moving house. I've got a space to myself, got a chance, and I'm going to go for one. So today's podcast is another idea that crossed my mind simply as I was walking the dog this morning. And it's this very simple term: never judge a book by its cover, but always judge a book by the review. Let's see how long it's going to take me to go through it. Okay then. Probably didn't even hear that. So never judge a book by... Yeah, it's better. Okay. So, never judge a book by the cover, but always judge a book by the review. What am I talking about? Well, I'll tell you why it came into my mind, because we're always told not to be judgmental people. We're always told, not to be judgmental people. And I ain't really so sure about that, to be honest with you. I think judgments are a very crucial, extremely crucial part of our daily analysis. Back to Anthony Robbins, asking questions. And your judgments are part of that. You have to ask questions in order to decide what to do in any given situation. And within there's a kind of judgment. So I ain't really talking about just going around judging everybody like you're better than them, although I probably have that really bad criteria, that really bad personality trait. In fact, I'm pretty fucking sure I have that bad personality trait. But, like all my foibles and weaknesses and, wrongs, I try and keep it under control as best as I can. I'm handling my issues. I'm trying to handle my issues like we all should. And this is a prime example. So some of you might hear this and go, fuck you, Felix, and you'd probably be right. But I'm just going to tell the truth because it makes it easier. There was somebody in my community, and I ain't really going to tell a story because I don't really know it. And this is the joke. It was just what I'd seen. So I'd seen over the course of like 2 or 3 years, I really kind of thought that she was about something. She had a good job and she seemed to, really be together as a person. But then as I've seen how the way her personal life's unfolded with baby daddy drama, type runnings, divorce, broke up, and baby daddy drama. Now, here we go. God knows I ain't judging people for that shit. Do you know what I mean? I ain't even done a podcast on marriage yet, man. But you know what I mean? I ain't trying to judge people on that. That's not where I'm at. It was just that I kind of, for some reason, I've been spoken to this woman a handful of times, kind of thought she was about more than what she was showing. She just didn't seem like the kind of person who was going to end up in a situation that she's in now. So I was like, that's kind of strange, man. I really thought she was about something, man. I really thought that she was focused and about doing something. I didn't think that she was going to end up in this situation, which is the kind of situation that most people who ain't about nothing end up in. Hey, how's that for a fucked up judgmental viewpoint? But anyway, I'm saying the truth. So, there I was having this thought, and I said to myself, well, here you go, though. Actually, you read the book by the cover. Like, you didn't really know her. What you did was you met her, spoke to her a handful of times, and made this judgment that you really thought she was about something. But what do you know? And even worse, as I've had the horrible experience of recently, we all know that most of the time people put their best foot forward. So to cut a long story short, to cut the shit, when you meet someone new, you're fucking lying. You know what I mean? To put it in the nicest of terms, you're presenting your best but not usual self. And to put it in the bluntest of terms, you're fucking lying. That isn't you who that person met. That's a version of you that you can't keep up. That's why programs like Big Brother exist. I don't watch Big Brother anymore. Obviously, it's just turned into something that eats itself now, But the first couple of seasons of Big Brother, I was fascinated with for that exact reason, knowing that, every mask has to fall. You can't keep up a mask for that long, 24/7. So anybody going in there with a plan or with a fraudulent personality was going to get exposed because you can't keep up for that long. And, it was a really interesting slice of life because you know that you're dealing with people who are doing that on a regular, on a daily basis, putting up this facade and pretending to be something that they ain't. And if their facade, if their fake self, is something that's dangerous or hurtful or even just inconvenient for you, then the sooner that you can find out that what you're seeing and what you're dealing with, what you're interacting with is the fake version of this person, that obviously is going to be the better for you. So, it's that's why I liked Big Brother. I thought it was really interesting to watch these people's fake personalities get eroded. And it works both ways as well. I remember, never forget, I think her name was Anushka. And this is like maybe season 3 or 4. It's quite late on this program. But at this time, they'd really had Big Brother go all around the world. So she, I think, came from an Australian Big Brother. And everyone kind of knew that she was really kind of like, a really charming, lovable character, because I think she'd been voted for that. So they stuck her in the English one. And she did the same thing. In the first encounter, the first episode, Never Went in the House, she threw up this, hard rock personality, probably a reaction to what happened to her in the Australian house. So she was like, everybody talks any shit to me. I ain't having that. I'm not playing with people, man. I'm real and I ain't taking on bullshit. And she threw up this real hard rock personality. And then everyone else in the house was like, what the fuck's up with her? You know what I mean? Like, what's her problem? And then that very night, they had to, vote for the person they wanted to leave the house. And like, most of the people voted for her because she's just coming with this Tasmanian devil whirlwind, I ain't taking no shit from nobody persona, this facade, this false self that she'd thrown up. So they had to make that vote on the first night, but the person had to leave 7 days later. Okay, so for the clock watchers, that was just had another interruption. So time is going to be all over the place. Let's just forget about the time for now. In fact, I'll just turn it the hell off. So as I said, she put up this false self, and then over the next 7 days, that front, that abrasive front, she let it down. In fact, to be honest with you, to me, it really more seemed like nerves, probably in combination with, the want to put up this hard front because she had a bad experience the last time she went into a house like that. Long story short, anyway, everybody, men and women, fell in love with her, like typical Encantador. Everyone like, she's charming, she's smart, she's intelligent, she's lovely. And everybody would have felt so bad that they'd decided to vote her off, but it had to stick. And so at the end of the first, 7 days, she had to get out of there. And that was a prime example of somebody, who actually was a nice person putting up a false front, and it working against them. Because the one we always expect is the wolf in sheep's clothing. Someone who pretends to be nice, pretends to be friendly, pretends to be altruistic or helpful or kind, but is really just manipulative and, Machiavellian in a way of just looking to use people. There is really no good intention from them or in them, just something that they pretend. As I said, I had a recent encounter with a particularly horrid narcissist, which really brought that shit home to me. Frankly, I didn't even know those people existed. I didn't know on this planet people existed who really put up such a front, a pretense, of altruism and kindness and, good-heartedness, and the whole thing was fake. The whole thing was bullshit, just as a carrot to lure you in for abuse and manipulation. I was like, that's what I talk about it a lot now, because like I said, it's recent in the last 2 years or so. And I just didn't know these people existed. It's literally like, I just finished watching Avengers Infinity War. I know I'm late. I know I like to be late on stuff. I'll do a podcast on that one day, but it was literally like that first Avengers movie where like the sky opened up and aliens fell out the sky. And I was like, whoa, I didn't know they really were aliens. Like, I was like, no, I know there's some fucked up people on this planet, but I really didn't know that people like this fucking existed. I did not know. It's like meeting your first psychopath who just kills for the fuck of it. And, having dinner with them and finding out that, they're not really your friend. They've just been plotting to kill you. But there's a TV show on Netflix about something very similar. I think it's called End of the Fucking World, where like it's a guy and he's a trainee serial killer. He's going in that mold, and he meets a girl and he's plotting to kill her but pretending to be her boyfriend. So, these things happen. So the point being, in all of those things, the very, very obvious adage, and I know it's a cliche, but a lot of this stuff that we talk about will be cliches because there's only so much shit under the sun. The point of this, I always believe, is to find a voice. The knowledge doesn't often change. It's just really about the voice, the way people express it. And if someone's expressing it the way that you like and resonates with you, then that's the voice you should be using. That's the voice you should be going to, because you can get exactly the same information from a completely different voice, a different style, and you won't affect you. You'll pass you right by. And I've had this happen to me on many occasions, particularly when we're dealing with the self-improvement type stuff. And someone said to me, "Oh, you've got to read Eckhart Tolle, or you've got to read Abraham Hicks." And I read that stuff, and it just didn't have any effect on me. But then I had pretty much the same information come from another source, another voice, and it blew me away. And I think that's one of the things that we really have to do in this life is find our voice, like find your frequency, and don't ever assume that you're on someone else's. But that's aside. So judging a book by its cover, man, you really can't do it. But it was interesting for me because I was like, yeah, let's get to the crux of this. You're a bit disappointed that this person doesn't appear. Again, you're making a value judgment because what the hell do you know? Do you mean? But that doesn't really appear to be about nothing, or doesn't appear to be about what you thought they were about. But here's what's interesting. I thought, well, why did you think they were about something in the first place? Because like with most things, it really comes down to this. You wanted her to be about something, and it's the usual bullshit. Let's just make it plain. She was pretty, she was engaging, she was interesting. I can't really, I'm not going to keep on just throwing out describing words, whatever the point was. It was somebody that I liked. So I wanted to believe in them. And this is one of the, number one tools of the con man, whether they be a sociopath, psychopath, narcissist, or just an everyday, I'm going to get you for your money. They employ this tool that they find the personality that you want to like, and then they become that person. Now, this person wasn't a con man. That's the joke. I conned myself. So let's again keep it absolutely real. I had decided that this person was like, really someone with a lot of values and substance, and was going to really go far. And I'd made a decision. I hadn't even asked them, and when I saw that doesn't seem to be the case, and again, I don't know if it's true. I might be wrong. I was kind of like, all right. So I wouldn't go as far as saying disappointed. I was just like a little surprised, like, oh shit, I really thought that person was on something else, but they really ain't. But the reality was, I built that up in my head, right? I decided, back to the cult of personality, that this person had a personality that made me want them to be about something. So I imbued them with that without really knowing if they were. So what I'd done was just judge this book by its cover. I'd literally seen the cover of this book and said, oh, you seem engaging and charming and intelligent, and I bet you're about something. But if I'm right, what they're really saying is, no, I'm attractive and I'm engaging and I'm intelligent and I'm kind and I'm friendly, but I ain't about shit. Do you know what I mean? And I'm happy with that. What the fuck's your problem? And that's kind of fair enough, right? That really is fair enough. So at the end of the day, that's the thought process that gave me to never judge a book by its cover. I'm not going to get into it too deeply, but 30 minutes is more than enough time. And it's the oldest cliche in the book. Sure, you can judge a book by its cover on occasion. When it comes to people, funnily enough, I find you can definitely judge a book by its cover when it comes to books. I've often believed this. And one of the reasons I believe that is because I find that creative people are creative in more than one way. So let's say the person who wrote the book had anything to do with its cover, the art or the design or whatever, then what you will find is if this person is an amazing writer, even if they didn't cover themselves, they would direct or only allow a very, very high quality cover that represented the quality of the book. So actually what you often find is you sure damn can judge a book by its cover, because the person involved in the creative process of writing the book, if they're involved in the creative process of creating the cover and they are a good writer, it's going to have a damn good cover in it. So the truth of the matter is the only place you could judge a book by its cover is when you're judging books. But with people, oh, hell no. That's on some Riley straight out of Boondocks. And it's so true, I've met people, because we have a saying in the Caribbean about spirit don't take to them. And that's kind of an interesting one. But many, many, many a time, because I kind of believe in that, I like that whole concept of your gut feeling, telling you stay the hell away from someone. But a lot of the time, your spirit, whatever that feeling is wrong. And we know we're not smart enough to really work out what that was. Like, what I mean by this is that, okay, I might meet someone and say, oh, my spirit don't take it. But what I might really be saying is, rather than my genuine sixth sense psychic ability says, be wary, there's something wrong with this person, it could just be they look a little bit like somebody who was unnice to me when I was young. or a character I didn't like on TV, or someone I'm jealous of that I didn't even know about, and our brain, the reticular activated system, is so immense, the amount of information that floods our senses on a day-to-day basis. You might not even remember that this person pissed you the hell off, or made you feel unsafe, or made you feel unvalued. And then you meet someone who reminds you of them, so all those senses kick off, and you think that's your spirit saying that, my spirit's telling me don't take this person, but it ain't. It's just a reaction to something that happened in your past that you basically don't even consciously remember. So, as much as I like the whole concept of my spirit don't take to them, I think a lot of the time we're going to get that wrong, because let's be honest with you, when you say my spirit don't take to them, what the fuck do you know about your spirit? Like, on the real, if you're a spiritualist and you dealt with the arts of the spirit and you cultivated your knowledge of your spirit and your spirituality, and in any method or way, whether you're doing it in Judeo-Christianic or Islamic or spiritualist or Zoroastrian, then I might even want to listen to you if you're Native American spirituality or Aboriginal spirituality. Anytime my spirit don't take to him, if you're Pocomania or or any of the African spiritualities, Shango or Hoodoo, I might even want to hear that. But when people say my spirit not texting, they just mean I get a feeling. And, that could be wind. That could be gas. That don't mean shit, because you don't know nothing about your spirituality. You know what I mean? So I find that very alarming. And I've met a lot of people who, when I met them, something told me, nah, this person ain't right. But actually, they turned out to be really good people and massively influenced my life. And on the other side, and this is like one of the stories, I have the same scenario because of my look. I look like, look at the picture in the podcast, dude. Because of my look, and because of the way society and the media presents people who look like me. I mean, the obvious one, right, is black guy with dreadlocks. I probably sell or smoke weed, right? So that's the book. That's the cover of this book in most people's eyes. So when people were to judge me based on that, well, every time I look into any form of media and I see a black guy with dreadlocks, particularly in a hat, he's involved in marijuana, sometimes just because it's a criminal thing, a money-making type thing, and sometimes because it actually is a Rastafarian spirituality-based Ethiopian Coptic church type thing. But either way, he could be involved in that. So that's straight away the first thing people assume. I say this, that if I smoked weed, I would never have to buy that shit. Not in England, and definitely never in Spain. I can't go out and people don't offer me weed. And it's really funny because there was a song by stereo MCs called Smoking with the Motherman. And I think that's how people see me. That there's not a lot of black guys from Caribbean heritage, who got dreadlocks in a hat. So everybody wants to smoke weed with me because it's almost like I authenticate the experience. Like, yeah, I smoked this spliff with this black guy from the Caribbean, and they want me to be from Jamaica. If I was going to play that lie, it'd be all good. You know what I mean? So it's a validation for them. It's authentic. So I would never buy weed if I smoked that here. But I don't smoke. I ain't smoked for over 20 years. All the things that people assume, like reggae is the only music I like. You know what I mean? So, all that kind of stuff. That's the cover of my... And I said it in the previous podcast before, I ain't mad. I don't get mad at it. I get why people think that. It might be a bit lazy, but I don't think it's aggressively hateful. It's just lazy. They've been fed the stereotype over and over and over again 100 times. So, they just assume that's what it is. In the same way, like if I met somebody who was a lesser royal, I'd probably assume they were tough and they played, croquet and they had afternoon tea and da-da-da. This person could be like a freaking Big L fan. You know what I mean? It could be like, yeah, I don't know what these people are talking about, man. Pun and Big L were the best rappers to ever touch the earth. And I'll be like, what you know about Pun and L? But, that's because I judge the book. So basically, that's why I don't get mad about when people judge the cover of my book, because, I get that. The only one I get mad about, and I think I did this in the perceived threat, is when people judge me as a threat because actually they attack me with that judgment. It's not like a passive judgment of, oh, yeah, I bet that guy smokes weed. Okay, that's cool. And some of the guys ain't even passive. They come to you, yo, you smoke weed. Yo, you want to smoke with me? But But I don't get mad at that. But when someone treats me like I'm a criminal before I've done shit, when you're treated like a criminal, that in itself is being sanctioned. This is why people always say that, if you're going to treat me like I did that shit, then I might as well go do it, right? And you get children who'll tell you that. If you're going to treat me like I broke that vase and I know I didn't break that vase, and now next time I'm going to just kick the football around the house and break a vase. I'm already taking the punishment for it. And in the same way, you always hear men saying, to their girlfriends and wives, if you're going to treat me like I'm having an affair, if I'm already going to suffer or to put the consequences of having an affair and the bad treatment, if I was having an affair when I'm not, then I might as well go have an affair. So, that's what happens. I get very offended by that. And that's why I made that podcast, Perceived Threat. So that's the first half. The second half I'll jump to, man, is, as I said, never judge a book by its cover, but always judge a book by the review. Now, that to me is the important part. Even though I'll probably spend less time talking about it, this is really where it's at. This is what I've learned so hard. And let me tell you why I learned it so hard. Because of what I just said. Because I know that everywhere I've ever been in my life, not everywhere, but the vast majority of encounters and engagements I've had in my life, I've been prejudged. I'm very much against prejudice. I'm very much against prejudice. Because I've been to so many places where either someone looks at me and thinks I'm into reggae music, or looks at me and thinks I'm into marijuana, or I'm a Rasta, or I walk into a place for a job interview and someone looks at me and assumes that I'm the only guy in the room who doesn't know how to do this job. When often the times I've been the only one who does. I've had so much that kind of prejudice that I find it so difficult to judge a book by its cover. And my extension of that was, knowing a lot of shit talkers when I was young. People love to just diss other people and talk shit about people, which wasn't true. So what happened is I took the extension of not judging a book by its cover into not judging a book by the review. And what I mean by that is not listening to people when they dissed other people. And that was a mistake. That was a mistake. I suppose the best way of doing it, because my guy is literally, from regards to my respecting him, fallen off the edge of the fucking abyss. It's hard for me to quote KRS-One, but I always say that even a madman, a criminal, or a fool can speak words of wisdom. So, it was KRS-One who said that, if you don't know the history of the author, you don't know what you're reading. I don't think that's his quote, but he quoted it. I got that from him. So, I guess when it comes to reading the review of a book, you really just need to know the author. Who wrote that review? If the author hates that writer of the book, then the review probably isn't going to hold water. It's probably not valid. It's probably going to be very clearly prejudiced. But if the reviewer has no feelings towards the author or the project, he's just being genuine and honest about his opinion, then you really want to pay some attention. And more importantly, you want to get more than one review. I mean, like the world we live in now, it's amazing. Like everything I buy, I can Google the shit out of. You know what I mean? So, and I'll still ask my friends. I'll still hit all my friends up because I had this conversation before about, the internet. Again, you don't know who's being paid to say what. And again, I had this big conversation with Bridget Haji. You don't know the values of the people. We were talking about booking holidays and TripAdvisor and Bookings.com and those reviews that people write. But I'm like, but I don't know the values of those people. If somebody who lives in squalor tells me that a place is clean, fuck you, she's that to me. Do you know what I mean? With somebody with incredibly high standards that are almost impossible to adhere to, tells me a place is squalid. What the hell's that got to do with me when my standards are average? I don't particularly want roaches and dirt all over the place, but I don't have to be, crystal pristine clean for me to stay in there for a couple of nights on a business trip. So I need to know the values that people reviewing. So even though there's all that information, even though I'll take all that information into consideration, I'll still hit my friends up in the ear and go, hey, yo, bro, I know your values. I know your standards. What do you think of that? I find that massively important. So it really is that quote. If you don't know the history of the author, you don't know what you're reading, particularly with reviews, because the reviews are there to sway your opinion. I mean, I guess all writers sway your opinion, but I'm just talking about the review side of things. And if you don't know what the reviewer's viewpoint was, if they have an axe to grind, if they have a personal problem, if they just hate the topic, then you have no idea really why they've given that review, or you don't understand why they've given that review and why it may not work for you or just be completely fucking untrue. Do you know what I mean? So having said that, I really, really have learned now to not judge a book by the cover, but definitely listen to the reviews. You know what I mean? And the people who have given me trouble in my life, really, if I was paying attention, and this is full circle, if I didn't want these people to be good people, And if I didn't want to keep them in my life, for other reasons other than, the quality of the human being they were, if I hadn't already built up this illusion that they were good people, interesting people, useful people, whatever reasons I threw up, I would listen to the reviews because the reviews were there. And the reviews weren't always clear. And, I definitely hold some people accountable for, talking fucking cold and being so cryptic, That's the thing. Like, I always believed in make it plain. Like the nation said, make it plain. Then we ain't got no time for no crypticism. Seriously, man. It's like, if you know that this person is going to come to my house and rob my fucking house next week, don't be like, yeah, that guy come around, yeah, checking for that guy, yeah, just be a bit cautious, There's no time for that. Just tell me, bro, listen, I don't know if it's true, but I heard that guy robs motherfucker's house. You befriends them, and then when his friend, you come see your house, you're going to case the joint, and 2 days later, your house is getting robbed. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I heard. So if you're bringing him to your ass, just know that I told you. If it ain't true, my bad. I don't want to diss no one, or besmirch no one's character, but since I heard it from a few places, I'm going to let you know. That's the review. No, fucking, yeah, that guy, a bit shady. But I heard things, yeah, man, on the web, certain man said certain things, and other man said things and them things were said to fuck out here with that. Do you know what I mean? We ain't no time for that. Get straight to the point, man. If you want your review to be helpful, get to the goddamn point. So, having said that, I had reviews. The two last people who took me, I was told. One by a dear friend of mine who's passed away, rest in peace. I was really quite surprised by how much it affected me, because you take shit for granted. You take people for granted, like they're always going to be there. There are characters in your life, like a TV show. Like, you go past so many people every day, but a handful of them are characters. This guy was a character. And, I just assumed that this character was still going to be there. And he ain't here no more. So rest in peace, you know what I mean? Jeff, you know what I mean? But he told me straight up, yo, be careful of that guy. You know what I mean? Like shiny things, gets involved in projects, stabs people in the back. Be careful. You know what I mean? Clear as it could be. And because of my pre-decision to not judge books by the reviews, I continued to get involved with this guy. He was the only guy who told me. Other people told me as well. So I just had to throw my hand up. Like, sometimes you have to say I was a damn fool. I know that everything is social media, but it always wants to big up himself and show how wonderful and smart and brilliant. Sometimes you got to say, I was an idiot, man. And the guy took me, man. The guy fucked up my shit in a very hurtful way, because it wasn't like even money. It was something much more important. Like, it was like, my not for profit. It was my giving back. Everyone says, like, when you're making money, you got to give something back. You got to tithe. You're going to take your 10% and give back. So, he got involved in my giving back, and it was going really well. And then he fucked it all up over greed. And then I saw my boy Jeff again, and I said, you know what, man, you told me, bro. And people be getting all like bashful, like, nah, don't put that on me. I said, nah, I'm telling you, I don't forget shit. You told me, you warned me, and I want to thank you for warning me that you had the moral backbone and fiber to look me in the eye and warn me about what I was dealing with and who I was dealing with when everyone else was just smiling and sitting back and enjoying the show. Do you know what I mean? And he was still going on bashful, like I said, rest in peace. So don't judge a book by the cover, but always judge a book by the reviews, man. And the narcissist, I wouldn't get started on that, man. Like I said, again, there's lots of people playing fucking Donnie Brasco, whispering. Like, what the fuck is this a movie? Unless you want to put some subtitles up on this bitch, tell me what you have to say. You know what I mean? But again, those guys, I think, again, they were just interested in watching the show. You know what I mean? It was going to be a performance. They wanted to see how it went down. So it was all good to them. They didn't like this person because they were complete, utter narcissistic shit. Scum of the earth. And they didn't care enough for me to warn me to not, get involved and get torched. So they just sat back and watched the show. Two people they don't care the fuck about. Let's just sit back and laugh, get some popcorn and see what happens. So, big fuck you goes to all of them. I mean, but the point being, there was a couple of people, even though they made it cryptic, who tried to warn me. But I was so back into this cover, man. You tell me this book's really bad, but this cover says, I'm great. No, I'm absolutely fine. I promise you. And like I said, I didn't know about the existence of them kind of people, man. I literally was. Do you know what I mean? Like, bam, aliens fell out the sky. Shit, I didn't know that existed. Really? Damn, I've been on this planet for so long and I didn't know about that. So, a combination of things. But my point was, I didn't take the reviews. Even the whispery, cryptic, bullshitty reviews. And some of the reviews weren't even verbal. They were facial. And I'm really sensitive. So I would see people's faces. See people's faces and eyes rolling and looking nervous and all kinds of shit. What the fuck are all these people? And so what happened, because these stupid fucking idiots never gave a voice to their actions and concerns, I gave them my own interpretation, which, again, hands up in my own stupidity, was jealousy for the friendship they saw, or, anger because of, something else or whatever, do you know what I mean? Or like some kind of inverted kind of racism, like who's this guy just come to this town, not even from, our nationality, but like, rocking it and got like good friends like that and da-da-da-da-da. See what I mean? So I gave it sort of my own interpretation because they didn't open their fucking mouths and tell me what those horrified facial expressions were about. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, that's what I learned. I learned that you really have to judge a book by its reviews. And, sometimes the reviews will be wrong. I ain't trying to say that you never, ever, ever get involved in anything that gets a bad review. But most definitely, if you're using your common sense, you have to take reviews into account. As I say again, if you're going to get reviews, get them from people who you trust, get them from people you know, get from people you know, their standards, their morality, their moral background, their beliefs, and then you know exactly what that review is saying. You know its limitations, you know its intentions, and you know its reason, you know its where it's coming from, you know its background, its origin. But if you can't get that, well, then get the reviews from wherever the hell you can get them, but take them into advisement, because without a doubt, that's what's really there for us, especially with people. If you're going into business with people, you need to get some reviews, man, and CVs ain't going to cut it. You need to talk to people to find out what this person's about. That's why everyone's up on everyone's LinkedIn or Zing or referral. I can't remember referral, how it's called now, but everyone's up on that because people want to know who they're dealing with. They want to know before they get taken for 200 grand by some fucking con man. And yet people are always getting taken for 200 grand by some fucking con man. Obviously the main reason being because they sell them something that's too good to be true, but they're so greedy they want it. They know in their heart it's bullshit, but just in case it's the lottery number. It really is a lottery win. I'm going to do it anyway. And the other reason is because they don't read the reviews that other people give them about these people. They judge the book by the cover. I'll say one last one, judging the book by the cover. The one that kills me, man, in my business, I hate, is like, I lost 76 grand because I looked poor. I had somebody literally say, when he fucked up my deal, I don't trust that guy to make me money. Look at what he's driving. I just got to Spain and we just bought a house and sold our car and didn't understand that, cars didn't hold their value in Spain. So we sold a 15 grand car and all we could buy was a car that wouldn't even cost you three grand in England. Do you know what I mean? That's just the way it was. And that lost me 76 grand. So the guy just took a look at me and went, nah, you don't look like you know how to make money. So I don't trust you. So I'm going to pull this deal and fuck it up for everybody. He was a linchpin in the deal. The first client, and he pulled it and he fucked it for everyone. So, that was an example of someone judging the book by the cover and it's made me fucking car paranoid my whole life. I don't drive a flashy car, but it's ridiculous. I remember there was another guy who would be one of the trainers at our Meet the Experts training course that we used to run in England. We used to run property training courses. And he was... he was arrogant, to say the least. But I'll never forget one of the guys said to him when he was teaching, because he was talking about buying properties in London, which was a speciality. What kind of car do you drive? And he went to him, what the hell has that got to do with the price of bread? So, yeah, I can't remember if he swore. I think he was professional, but he basically said, what the heck's that got to do with the price of fish? And this guy was like, well, you're trying to teach us how to buy property and make money. So, what car do you drive? And he literally said to this guy, and I was quite, worried because I'm, always super fucked up in my head about being polite, which is one of my many issues to deal with. Do you know what I mean? And he was very impolite to this guy. He didn't swear, but he basically told this guy he was a fool, and the fact that he was going to judge his ability to embark information on him based on what car he drove was completely, utterly ludicrous. And that's probably why he wouldn't be very successful. And I was sitting there with my heart in my throat, like, dude, this guy's paid money to be here and you're insulting him. And then when he finished his tirade, he goes, oh, by the way, I've got a Mercedes-Benz, blah, 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 parked outside. You want to have the keys to go and have a look? And the guy just shut up. But you see, that is the book, judge a book by its cover. This guy basically was saying, yo, if you don't drive a good car, you ain't got a nice suit, you ain't got a Rolex, you ain't got da-da-da-da, you don't have to make money. And why is that stupid? Because Warren Buffett has none of those things. And neither do a lot of the best investors. Every once in a while, they'll go and treat themselves something, but they're not on that just got rich bullshit, with their first paycheck straight down to Jake the Jeweler, buy a Rolex, buy a car, buy clothes, and don't even own a house. You know what I mean? It's like the intelligent people don't do that. But the public still look at those things as signs of your ability to be financially successful. So, I've got into that now. It's kind of shameful, but, it really is. It's that whole fake it before you make it type of thing of dressing in a certain way. I'm go overboard with it because it kind of turns my stomach based on the stupidity of it. But it's back to accepting things for what they are, not for how you want them to be. It's like giving myself another mountain to climb. If I turn up in a pair of jogging bottoms and a T-shirt from Tesco's trying to tell people that I've got 11 years experience in buying properties around Europe, which I have, and pulled off the most amazing deals. But, I'm just giving myself another barrier to climb. So just why bother? If people are that shallow and stupid, then I just play the game. But what's nice is when I'm in my home and I don't have to meet clients, I can take off all that shit. Because it doesn't really mean nothing to me. It's as dumb as that. It's like it's dressing for work. It's like putting on a McDonald's uniform, in my opinion, but just going to meet people to talk about property that you got to have on a name brand watch and a name brand shirt and name brand this and name brand that. To me, it's a McDonald's uniform. It's a dustman's uniform. It's a uniform because it's bullshit. It doesn't mean anything. In fact, take another version. I'll never forget out here, there's all these stupid frigging companies which us Gearys have to work for. And then one ex-business partner of mine told me about some guy who said to him that you have to dress in a suit and tie to work for this investment company. And this is in the middle of Marbella. Like in Marbella, we can get like 40 degrees in the summer. And these guys got this whole room of people on the phone selling investments, talking to clients in suits and ties in 35 to 40 degrees. And my ex-business partner said to me, you're an idiot, and walked out. And the guy said, no, because, when you dress for success, when you've got your business suit on, then your business mind's and you're focused and you do business. But what the fuck are you talking about? I've done my best deals in my briefs. You know what I mean? It's like 40 degrees out here, man. I'm sat on here. If you're one of my clients, maybe you might want to delete that image. But I've done some of my best deals in my briefs. In my briefs, in my string vest, walking around the house, being cool. It doesn't affect my bloody working of my brain if I'm wearing a Gucci tie or I can't even call the names because I don't really care about them. But you'll see me in that rubbish now because I've decided to not give myself another mountain to climb. In terms of getting on with doing business with people, if it's so important for them to see that I drive a certain car in order to allow me to do the job that I've been successfully doing for the last 20 odd years, then I'll get that car. I'll get that watch. I'll get that jacket. I'll get that shirt, because at the end of the day, I just need to keep on doing business, and that's part of the rigmarole. But that's what I'm trying to say. So that's really, the judging of the book, and from a business perspective, such an arse pain. And last story I'm going to leave you with, which just fits into this, so I really ain't about none. Again, another guy who passed away, man, rest in peace. And it's terrible because he's one of those friends I got to know through our children. Our children were friends, so then we got to know that families, we're doing sleepovers and they go around to each other's house and stuff like that. And just, real nice, solid people. And I'll never forget, he told me the story one day. He said that he was in a bar with a couple of guys. One guy he knew and a couple of guys joined him he didn't know very well. And I walked down the road. I walked past the bar. And I didn't see them, so whatever. I can't remember exactly how it went. I think maybe I did see him and I said hi to him or whatever. And then as I walked past, one of the guys we didn't know said to him, hey, be careful about that guy, man. Really watch out for that guy. And he went, who? Him? And he goes, yeah, be careful of that guy, man. Seriously. I see he said hello to him. Really, you got to watch out for that guy. And he goes, who? Him? It's like, yeah, him, the black guy with the dreadlocks. He goes, why? He goes, he's one of Europe's biggest drug dealers. Now, my guy said he literally fell off the chair laughing. He went, what, Phoenix? He told me he was just in tears. He's just laughing. It's like, that guy's daughter comes around my house and plays all the time and blah, blah, blah. Listen, dude, if this was one of Europe's biggest drug dealers, I'm pretty sure I'd have bloody noticed, man. That guy's over here trying to survive the recession, busting his ass, running his own property company when no one's buying. I don't know what you're talking about. Now, it's so funny because, you know, that's an example of both. I don't know if that guy, I don't know where he got that information from, to be really honest. It's probably not mistaken identity because at that time, I am 100% assured there was only one black guy with dreadlocks in a hat in the town I lived in. Remember, I live in southern Spain. You know what I mean? It's like a white man in Africa scenario. Like, there ain't two of me. You know what I mean? There was me and my kung fu teacher in Estepona. That was it. Neither of us was rocking it like that. Neither of us. My guy teaches, Shaolin praying mantis for a living. So, bullshit. I mean, I call bullshit on that. So I don't know where that information came from. But I was very, very, very heartened that my guy, you know, because I don't always do that. I said before, you know, I'm not always that confrontational. I don't always want to have to confront bullshit all the time. I don't always have the energy, and sometimes I'm just feeling a bit weak. Do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't have been mad at him if he'd have been like, oh, okay, and just told me. But he's just like, nah, bollocks, which I really appreciate when people take a stand like that because I didn't, you know, expect him or need him to do that for me. But he's like, nah, don't be bad mouthing that guy. You're talking bollocks. I know you are, but that's shit. And I really appreciate that. I didn't expect it, and I wouldn't have taken any offense if he just gone, oh, really? Oh, okay, yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Just knowing it was bullshit. So he doesn't have to get into a confrontation with somebody that he doesn't know. But my point was, you know, I don't know whether the guy just took a look at me and decided that I look like one of Europe's biggest drug dealers. Bit of a stretch from, like, you know, the friendly dread who you want to smoke weed for authenticity within a club, but whatever, you know. But it was kind of really interesting that my guy didn't take that review. You know, I guess maybe because he'd known me for years, a little while. I think it was probably the first year or so we got to know each other. We knew each other a little while, so he'd made his own assessment. Plus, obviously, he'd asked reviews of other people, as all parents do, to want to know. They want to know where their kids are going. So maybe he'd asked a couple of people, you know, about that guy, you know, his kids paying my kids, but what's he like? And other reviews to come back and like, yeah, he's just a normal guy, broke as fuck, man. Ain't it a shame? Recession, and he's catching ass like the rest of us. So, you know, if I was big balling it as one of Europe's biggest drug dealers, I was hiding that shit well. That last story don't really, you know, ain't really about nothing, but it just relates because it just really made me laugh. And as I said, that's really all I can say. It comes down to do not judge a book by its cover. Unless it's a book, which you often can. But anything else, that adage holds firm. Do not judge a book by its cover. Do not ever give something, anything, you know, the values or the importance that you want it to have. You know, find out what it has for real. So the ones that not only not judge it by its cover, but don't, you know, just will it. You know, we talk a lot in self-improvement about belief. And I love that, but it's super dangerous at the same time. If you want to believe that something bad for you is good for you, that ain't helpful. So that's when the reviews come in. You know, there's all this, like, you know, every time there's a new superfood. So I'm not dissing the superfoods. Let me make one up. Let's say there's a superfood called Yadinga root. And everyone's saying it's a superfood, and you really want it to be the superfood. You really want it to be the superfood. Yo, you best check the reviews, man, because that shit could be bad for you. You know what I mean? You want to, no matter how much you want it to be that thing, and it might look like that thing, don't mean it's that thing, man. So, like I said, never judge a book by its cover, but always judge a book by the reviews. And with that, whoever stops me from, you know, keeping this timer running is the reason why these podcasts have gone from like average like 15 minutes to 45. So if anyone ever wonders why do you have that annoying noise in the background, that's the reason why, because I can talk all day. But I think in the last 47 minutes, I surely must have made my point. So it's the Grand Gordo Papa. This is the GGPLS channel. Thank you for listening. make some comments. I don't even know, how you're listening to this, but I'm going to try and make sure there are some platforms in which you can make some comments and we can debate some of the stuff, because this is free thinking and I really want to encourage open debate. And even if you think my opinions are bullshit, I would love to hear yours. As long as they're constructive and presented in a way, that we can have a cordial discussion and agree to disagree or learn from each other. So, GGPLS, and I'm out.
Et gaff til a gaff. Et gaff til a gaff. I'm illy with the till a gaff. Illy with the till a gaff. Nit gaff, nit gaff.